The PR Council has worked with Family Zone, now QORIA, over the last few years. They have around 10 million children worldwide under online safety monitoring and protection. They work with around 20,000 schools across Australia, Asia, the UK and the USA, where they work with school boards in the majority of US states. The accessibility of pornography online by Australian children is at epidemic proportions. Most Aussie kids access their first pornographic images online between the ages of 8 and 10. 69% of males and 23% of females have accessed their first online images by the time that they are 13 years of age. 64% of teens access porn at least once a week, and 88% of online pornography being accessed by Australian children contains violence against women. In terms of the damage that online bullying causes to Australian children, preteens and teens, 42% of Aussie kids report being bullied online, and online bullying through social media and gaming apps is the leading cause of suicide for Australian kids. Trying to hold the social media platforms accountable is laudable for governments, but it is akin to trying to force back gravity. Children explore things, and whilst we can talk about Facebook, Instagram, and other applications owned by Meta, there are more and more applications coming online that kids will access simply because they're new and exciting and they're apps that their parents haven't heard of. There is little distinction now between gaming applications and online social media applications, and for the next generation of kids, this distinction between the two is really going to disappear as kids are now communicating through multiplayer game apps. So relying on a regulatory code that holds social media applications to account, as we say, is laudable, but at the end of the day, big tech and social media companies are working against the interests of parents. So while government works with big tech to ensure that they place safety restrictions on things that children can access, big tech is working against the vested interests of parents and children and against the vested interests of governments. Big tech seeks higher and higher levels of engagement from children, and parents, governments and teachers seek more and more levels of moderation. Family Zone's key argument to the federal government was that the existing regulation in Australia allows enterprise customers, so that's big business, higher levels of restrictions for their employees than mums and dads are offered for children on their own single devices. So what does that mean? That means if you're a large business, your in-house tech team can alter the operating system of devices that your company owns and gives to employees, so employees are blocked from accessing certain content. If you're a mum and dad and you buy a device for your child, you don't have access to those same levels of restrictions and you don't have access to that part of the operating system. You can only rely on the inbuilt default that Google, Apple, or Microsoft has implanted in that device as part of the defaults offered to mums and dads in that operating system. This is what Family Zone calls a two-tiered operating system, pitting big business and enterprise with high levels of privacy and restrictions against mums and dads who are just trying to do the right thing for their kids. We're really proud in the role that we played in explaining this policy in a way that legislators and regulators can understand. We're really proud of the success we delivered, particularly as part of the ACCC's digital platforms inquiry, bringing some new regulation to the fore that will keep Australian kids safer online and be an example to governments around the world